X's and O's with Minnesota Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer is underway. This is the
Hey, you're
inaugural
supposed to look at that camera over there, dude.
edition of Mike Zimmer's X's and O's. We got to get a quick shot of the voice that popped in here, right? That's the head coach. That's Mike Zimmer, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, KFAN, Vikings Radio Network. We welcome you into the Cincinnati game this weekend. It's a 1 o'clock game on KFAN, and it's into your 8th year as head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. So that's just a wonderful accomplishment. And I know, you're trying not to smile, but I know you're not in the recognizing wonderful accomplishment business specifically in one place, but that has to make you feel good.
Well, it'll make me feel good if we win a Super Bowl. That'll make me feel good. We're just grinding every year and trying to get a little bit better.
Now that I buttered you up, you care to share with the audience any updated Anthony Barr, Christian Darrisaw related news, or that's why we butter you up, right?
Yeah, I think Barr still has a chance. We'll find out.
Good.
We'll find out a little bit more later this week. Darrisaw's probably not be ready this week.
Yeah, when I say Christian, with the limited amount of practices that he's had, and I mean, you've talked about it a million times. It's with Christian, you wait, get him into shape, get him into the spot, make sure he knows how to do it, and then maybe roll with him, right?
Yeah, and when you've only practiced a few days and then, you keep having these setbacks, it just continues to linger on. So, we're going to have to get him out there on the practice field for a while and see if he can hang in there and do it.
You have a linebacker named Nick Vigil, and he's a former member of the Cincinnati Bengals. What do we get with Vigil now? And maybe if he has to play extensively, what do you get with him?
I was just talking about him today with the coaches, and he really reminds me a lot of Chad Greenway. He's very smart. His personality is the same. They're very quick thinkers. I think he's a good player. He understands his role and understands everybody else's role. So, we're glad we have him.
So if Nick makes a big play, a sack or something, the karate kick, is it expected?
Yeah, I don't know what his little style is yet.
And then of course he'll get into some form of vodka business, and we'll just move on. It's Mike Zimmer, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, X's and O's, KFAN, the Vikings Radio Network, and those of you at Vikings.com, we welcome you. Now with your pass rush and Danielle Hunter obviously ready to play this year, just overall the depth of your pass rush, you feel good about it?
Yeah, I do. I think with DJ Wanham, who has a lot of versatility, we can do a lot of different things with him, with Griffin, and then Sheldon Richardson. I think those kind of combinations, but also the combination of Weatherly. So I think I like the combination of guys. Where if they're double teaming one guy, we have a chance to work on some other areas, and then you add Barr in there and Kendricks and Vigil and some of the Harrison Smith. Yeah. We have some versatility in the rush game.
Now with when you beat New Orleans in the playoffs and put Everson and Danielle inside. Yeah, that's a bold move, specifically, with not much time to do it. Then it worked, you wrecked the game, and you moved on. Did that, even for you doing it as long as you have, did that open your eyes at all to maybe do more non-obvious things? Because you mentioned DJ can play all over the place, Weatherly probably can, and so on.
Well, I think what we're trying to do, Paul, is look at the skill set of the individual players and then look at the opponents and their skill sets and where they're at. And then, how can we get good matchups where we're trying to get good matchups? And also, maybe it's using Wanham a little bit more as a linebacker. And so instead of having 4 down guys, we have 3 down and a hybrid guy. So, there's a lot of little variations there that we can kind of do with those guys.
Through all your years, Mike, I'm not exactly sure what you did in Dallas, but those years in Cincinnati and here, why have you never had 3-4 as a base? Why have you generally been a 4-3 guy?
Well, I did have a 3-4 in base in Dallas.
Okay.
My first 2 years in Dallas, we were 3-4 when Coach Parcells came in, and I think he wanted to change over the second year, but we were number 1 in the league on defense, so he couldn't do it then. So the third year, he had us move over there to a 3-4, and it brings a lot of versatility. I like it. You have to have the right kind of personnel. You have to have 2 big outside linebackers, and then you have to have some big, thick guys in the middle.
So then you get to Cincinnati, and you run it as well as you did there. I mean, just one of the league's best defenses year after year. And with Geno Atkins and Domata Peko in the middle, then Kevin and Pat Williams here for years, and now Michael Pierce, Dalvin Tomlinson. I mean, that's just so important to have your kind of guys in the middle, right?
Yeah, I think and they're all different. You know, Michael Pierce and Tomlinson are different than Geno Atkins and Pecco were. You know, so you got to kind of figure out, you know, what they're best at and kind of move from there. You know, Sheldon's a little bit more like, I'm not saying he's Geno Atkins, but he's a little bit more like that, a little bit more slithery. You know, where the other two guys are big, strong, physical guys, and you know, that allows us to do a few more things with some of the guys behind him.
Yeah, so just from kind of the Rube standpoint, the fan standpoint, looking at it outside, Hunter, Tomlinson, Pierce, say Wanham, Weatherly, Griffin, whomever. Is it safe to say that, okay, Daniil's going to draw the majority of the doubles, but you can't double all of them, so now Pierce and Tomlinson, who never have had big sack totals, it'll give them a chance to work their way to do different things, right?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, they're run players, really, these two guys. I think that's what they kind of hold their hat on. We're continually trying to continue to work with them on there, but, you know, with the ends and the linebackers and the safeties, that allows us to generate a little bit more pass rush in that way. But, you know, in order to do that, you got to stop the run first, and that's basically those two guys' job first, is to get the run stopped so we can rush the passer.
How good's your new punter?
You know, he's got a good leg, big leg, has some good hang time. He'll have some miss hits, so, you know, we're trying to work with consistency on him.
And over the last X amount of years, did you ever think that you would be focusing as much on special teams, truly, as you have?
I probably should have a lot more, but we are very, very diligent about who's going to be active on game day based on special teams. We're going to, you know, about who made the club based on special teams, because I think it was such a glaring weakness for us last year that, you know, we have to, and Cincinnati has a really good special teams unit.
Now, I mean, it's just the preseason, and there were some problems coverage-wise and special teams-wise in that Denver game, but it seemed to get better or improve for the most part. Even though it's preseason, you're always looking for improvement. Is that fair?
Yeah, and one of the things we started doing this year is with the whole team, we're watching all the special teams. So after the game, the whole team comes in, and, you know, when a guy makes a great play or a great hit, then they let him know. And, you know, if a guy gets rocked one time, then they let him know about that too. So we're trying to make that a big point of emphasis with the special teams this year, whether it's the return game, making sure that, you know, we have some more explosive plays in there as well.
X's and O's with Mike Zimmer, courtesy of the Minnesota State Lottery. I'm Paul Allen. A few to close. Not time for two more, Bob, but we're getting close. Same question about the punter with Dede Westbrook. What do you like about him?
Well, you know, he's got great speed. I like him as a receiver as well, but he's got great speed. He catches the ball really well. You know, if we do a good job with our hold-ups and our gunners, and we do a good job on defense to create some situation where we can hold those guys up, then I think he's got a chance to make some big plays in the return game.
With the Bengals offense, Zach Taylor, he seems to want to throw a lot. Is that true, and how is their offense?
Well, I do think that's true. I think they've got a really good quarterback in Burrow. You know, he's very quick to decipher, gets the ball out of his hands really quick, so, you know, it makes it hard to rush. But they've got excellent receivers, and, you know, they're getting in no backs a lot of times. They'll be in five wides, and, you know, they'll do a lot of things. But they got a good running back in Mixon, too. He's a big, hard running back, you know, a kid that we liked a lot coming out when he came out of Oklahoma. You know, I think they're very explosive. I saw something today, like he's the fourth most passing yards for a rookie quarterback in the history of the NFL or something like that.
Yeah, very, very good, Joe Burrow. Now, 0 offensive touchdowns in the preseason. How good and explosive do you expect the offense to be starting against Cincinnati?
Well, you know, I think it's a little bit of, you know, we have to go out and prove it, just like the rest of our football team. You know, I believe we have some really good weapons with our wide receivers. You know, I think Tyler Conklin does a really nice job at tight end. We obviously have Dalvin Cook and Madison in the backfield. You know, Dalvin has looked great in practice, and, you know, the more these teams load up on to stop him, the more opens up for Jefferson and Thielen and Conklin and you know, trying to get the ball in some of these other guys' hands.
Chris Herndon, the new Viking, he scored on you guys as a rookie when you were out there. How does he fit into the mix, and is there a learning curve, just shifting teams, offenses, the whole thing?
Yeah, I think there's a learning curve, you know, and so we're trying to bring them along as fast as we can. You know, they'll have a package for him as we come into this ball game. But you know, he's a guy that you know, I haven't seen a lot other than on tape in a couple practices, but he's done a really nice job with you know, the things we've asked him to do thus far.
With what you saw from Herndon, or what we don't know about Conklin, or whatever tight ends are going to play, do you feel their run blocking, that they're willing, you know, that they're willing to complement not only what you want, but what is best for the offense, Dalvin?
Yeah, I think both of them are willing. You know, sometimes sustaining is the key to that, and not just being willing blockers, but sustaining. Tyler's improved tremendously in the time that he's been here in his blocking, and so you know, that should be a big plus for us.
Last one for Mike Zimmer. 13 years ago, age 52, you became defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals for 6 seasons, subsequently ended up here. What do you remember about Paul Brown Stadium? I mean, you got all these new stadiums and everything. You go to SoFi later in the year, hopefully twice, but you go there later in the year. Paul Brown Stadium, it's been around forever.
Well, yeah, it's right on the river. The wind comes off the river a decent amount. They've got terrific fans. You know, they're very loud, not as loud as our fans are, and probably not as good as our fans, but they have good, solid fans. And you know, it's going to be you know, like for the first game, especially the first game you come out of the season with fans, it should be a loud, very, very aggressive crowd. You know, I've been in the visitors' locker room when we played there in the preseason, but that was the only time.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good place, and it's a beautiful stadium right next to the ballpark there. The
Great
Reds ballpark, yeah. So it should be a fun day.
Short trip. No, you can't get to Walton, can you?
No, I won't be able to make it.
Wow.
No.
So you're going to be in Cincinnati with Zimmer Ridge Ranch 30 minutes away or whatever, and you're not going to be able to go.
Yeah, I can't make it.
I understand that. It's a business trip. How far is Louisville from Cincinnati?
It's an hour.
About an hour?
Yep.
And in Louisville is Churchill Downs, and I'm Paul Allen with Mike Zimmer, soon to be 2023 owner of the Kentucky Oaks champion. Her name is Immaculate Glory. Good luck this weekend. Thanks for the conversation.
All right, Paul, thank you.
More Vikings football conversation around the corner on X's and O's via KFAN and the Minnesota Vikings Radio Network.